Hey guys, we are ready to put up our art show. And even though this is your personal exhibition and you want your stuff to look really good, it is a group show. So our goal for setting up is to help each other have the best show possible. So that means that if you are sharing a space with someone, to just talk to them about how you want to set them up, at least if you're there. And then just leave room for people. That means that you might have to adjust what you have in your mind for your setup. Maybe you can't go as long as you want, but then we have to rethink, well, okay, I have these, we have these limitations of space. And so how can I create the best exhibition within the space provided? So in this long hallway where I am, I do have your names up on little Post-it notes where I think your work would be the best spot for your work. Doesn't mean that we can't switch her around at all. It just means that I took into consideration size of pieces as well as display cases and where those were. So when you are ready to set it up, what you're going to do is you're going to make sure that you print off your curatorial rationale and just making sure that it looks really nice and that I cropped some of the blank white space off so that it's a little bit shorter. And then I also have my title cards all printed off and cut out really nicely. Make sure that you do a nice job on those. I have masking tape for the paper, and then I also have a few materials to help me hang. So I'm gonna go ahead and hang these 4 pieces, and what I would suggest is to lay the pieces out exactly how you would like them. And so before you even put them on the wall, you are making sure that you have your layout and organization ready to go. That's going to help you just place them on there and make sure that they're at a good height and you're not running into the next person. So the next thing I need to do is I need to think about where my artist statement is going to be and where my title cards are going to go. Usually when you have a piece of work, your title cards are going to be on either the bottom right side right here, lined up with the edge, or right here, lined up with the edge. You can choose either one. You just need it to be consistent through all of your pieces. So if you have it below one, they need to be below for all. Now, since this artist wants his pieces in one line, I think it makes the most sense for the artist statement to be on the bottom right below there. The next thing I need to do is I need to think about how am I going to hang this piece on the wall? Does it have a little hook where I can hook like a wire across, or does it have just a flat back that I need a piece of Velcro? So what I'm going to show you is all the different ways to attach your work. The first way is we have these black command strips, and you just tear them apart like that, and they have a piece that comes off there. And if you have a lighter work, you can choose some smaller ones. If you have a heavier work, you probably need 4 of these. So the next thing that you could use are all of these command strips. If you have a wire on yours, I would recommend using one of these so that the wire can hang right there. If you have a really small something light, I would just use like these little Velcro pieces. So since this piece is a little bit larger, I'm going to use the black command strips. And so what you do is you take 2 of them, you line them up, and you press them together so that it kind of clicks. It's kind of satisfying. And then I'm going to tear off one side. And I'm going to place it on the edge of the canvas right here. And I'm going to really push hard right there. So I have 2 strips together. I'm going to do the same for the other side. So I'm going to take 2 command strips. I'm going to put them together, Velcro to Velcro, and I'm going to snap them together. I'm going to peel one side off. I'm going to put it on the other side. So So I'm really pushing those in there and really holding them tight. It says to do this for about 30 seconds, like really push hard on there. Now the tricky part to this is that there's little to no wiggle room once you stick it to the wall. So my recommendation is to have a buddy. Hopefully, maybe I'm your buddy if you're coming like later after school sometime. But if we're doing it with class, just have someone else's eyes on it. Take turns helping each other, because once you place it, that's it. That's the placement. So that means that we want it perfectly horizontal. So I would have someone stand like back a little bit further and eyeball it and say, yes, that's horizontal. No, put that side up a little. No, that side up a little. Really help each other out in this time, because it does get a little bit tricky. So when I'm about to hang this up, I would hold up the work next to it so that I have a really good idea of the spacing between each one and where this one might go. How high I want them. They should be kind of eye level. So right about there. And I know they're not horizontal yet. I'm going to set that one down. So I want this one about here. So once I'm ready to place it there, I'm going to maybe have a friend like spot you here and hold on to that. And then you're going to remove the backing on the command strips, which is difficult with one hand. This is why you need a buddy. I got him. So now this is sticky on both sides, and I'm going to hold it up, and I'm not sticking it until I'm perfectly satisfied. I'm kind of checking this edge to make sure this is parallel, and this edge just to make sure that's perpendicular. I'm trying to do the best perfect job I can. And then once I have it, I'm going to hold it there really hard for like 30 seconds. Like that. So now I'm going to do that with all the pieces. I'm going to put command strips on them, and I'm going to place them up. Probably want twice the amount of command strips. So what I would do is I would do the same thing I did to the first one, but I am now going to place 4 of them on instead of 2. There's a little bit of a fold when you did the corners here, so I just placed the command strip a little bit lower on that one. All right. Now that I have held them on and really pressed them firmly in so they're really stuck, I'm going to remove the backing. I'm going to ask a friend to spot me because I want it perfectly still, so I would have a friend stand back there and say, okay, make sure I get this horizontal. Knee down. I'm going to spot the edge of this one, and I want this edge to be perfectly perpendicular, or not perpendicular, parallel to it. I'm going to try to kind of stand back as much as I can. This one's really light, and so I don't think I need the big black command strips. And so I do have some that are a little bit smaller, so I'm going to use those on this one. And then I'm going to remove the other backing. I'm gonna ask a friend to spot me. This one I want to think about where it's gonna hit here and where kind of the central line is coming across. So I'm not only looking at the parallel lines here, but I'm also looking at kind of where the center of the pieces are. So I think it should be maybe right about there at eye level. You kind of got to think about your audience here and what their eye level is. So if I was hanging this in an elementary school, I would probably hang it a lot lower. Now the last one is a little bit trickier because it does have that hanging wire here. So I am going to choose a different kind of hook. And if I use this kind of hook, there is a command strip that goes with it that's flat without any Velcro. And so this one says wall paired. That means that the red side goes against this. So I'm just going to use one. I'm going to pull off the red side. I'm just going to stick it to the back like that. Now this is a little bit tricky because you need to figure out where the wire is and where it'll hit on the wall. And so what I would do is kind of hang like that and sort of see where the painting should be hung and get a sense of where that middle is. And then I'm going to take this down and I'm going to like keep this right here. So that I can remove the backing. And I still know where that center is. I'm just going to press it against the wall for 30 seconds. So basically everything do press for 30 seconds. So once your artwork is hung, then it is time for your artist statement and your title card. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use masking tape for this part. I'm going to just do 2 circles of tape on my title card like that. I'm going to line it up with this outside edge. I'm just going to put it down about 1 inch. And make sure everything is nice and square. For his artist statement, you want to think about, if you're going to be reading it, like it probably should be down below like this, unless you're a child. So I'm going to put his artist statement with his first piece so that when people experience his work from left to right, they'll read his piece and then be walked through. If I had more space, I would probably put it like here, but I know that I want to be aware of the person who's to the right of him, and I don't want to squish them anymore. So, we just got to work with the space that we have and make the best show we can. All right, and then I just have 2 more title cards, but that is how you hang a show. We are working on this together until we're finished. Obviously, if you need a display case, that will be some other considerations. We might have to move some cases around. We might have to work together on hanging some things. But this is a group show, group effort. We all want this to be a success. So you guys have worked really hard so far. We want to put our best foot forward.